Welcome back. Good to have you in. I've said this before. You remember that show, Intervention? I'm not even sure if it's still on, but it was Intervention where the family comes in. Somebody in the family has a drug issue, and the family comes in. And I said I couldn't watch a minute of that show. I don't deal, long story, I'm not going to self-analyze and waste your time with this. I'm not good at babysitting people. Like, if you're a grown-up and you can't handle your life and you can't get your stuff together, I'm not interested in babysitting. I'm not. I've dated high-maintenance people, or low-maintenance people. I married low-maintenance people. My friends are low-maintenance. I don't deal well with people, grown-ups, who can't be grown-ups. I feel bad if you've got this problem or that problem, but that's your problem. They're not my problem. And so I personally don't deal well with volatile personalities. If I work with them, I move them off. If I have a friendship with them, I move off. That's me. I could never bring in Antonio Brown. He is volatile. And I think what happens when you get into volatile, emotion-driven people who are kind of anti-authority, everybody starts walking on eggshells. Some people can handle that. Therapists go to school for that. Okay, I can't. I don't deal with it. I could never bring in a player like AB. Especially if you did just moderate homework last year. By the end of the year on the Steelers, it was a mess. He has become T.O. They're very similar. They're small college guys who got overlooked by a lot of people, come to the NFL for legacy franchises, 49ers, Steelers, super productive, all-time talents, and then they get the same agent, Drew Rosenhaus. Eventually, they sort of wear people out. The teams move off them, and the first team they go to, remember, Oakland's not the first team. There was a deal here with Antonio Brown with another team, and it went sideways with the paperwork. T.O. had the same situation. T.O. ended up doing sit-ups in the driveway guy. A.B. is a cryo feet disaster, hot air balloon guy. Both call out quarterbacks. Both struggle with authority. They're the same guy now. It's small school, superstar, tend to be anti-authority guys. The problem with that, and in some sports that works, football is the most corporate American culture. It is the most regimented American professional sports culture. Coaches are authority figures, authoritarian. They're not in the NBA. They're not in Major League Baseball. You know, a Major League Baseball manager, good God, he doesn't have his – the GMs now hand the lineup every day. Even with the New York Yankees, the Red Sox, the GM halfway is running the franchise. But the NFL coach is the last professional coach in professional sports in America. It is his team and his playbook and his way and his staff. And if you're anti-authority, and I think T.O. is, it's not the end of the world. A lot of people are like that. A lot of great artists are like that. I think AB is sort of anti-authority. It's a hard rub. It's a hard relationship. And so I think they've become the same guy. It didn't work out terribly well the second half of the career. By the way, the Eagles picked up T.O. largely for the same reason the Raiders got AB. The Raiders were looking for a difference maker, a little bit of relevance. The Eagles kept getting to the NFC Championship with Andy Reid, and they thought, can we get a guy that can, like, expand us? We can just go the extra step. And I think that's how John Gruden sees AB. We get Terrell Williams. We don't have a star back. Can he give us an extra step, take us to just in a tough division? Eagles were in a tough division when they got T.O. These are a lot of similarities playing out, and I just don't think it's going to end terribly well because I think it's their personalities. Coaches are not built to be therapists. They didn't go to college for it. They've been handed and by the way, John Gruden, more than any coach in the NFL, has a 10-year contract. So more than any coach in America, he is an authoritarian. He does, outside of Belichick, have the most leverage. Well, he's not giving it up. So I just think this relationship between Gruden and his authoritarian style and AB and his DNA and his personality, I just don't think it's going to work. He's in camp today. He did show up. It was not a wear your helmet practice day. Drew Rosenhaus, his agent, will be joining us in about 1 hour from now. I don't think it would work. I wouldn't have brought him on. I think he's super talented. Now, it should be noted, Drew Rosenhaus does have the kind of personality. If you look at Drew Rosenhaus, his last 15 years as an agent, he is great working with players who can be high maintenance, can be a little obsessed, can be a little volatile, can be heavy in the personality. He does work well with those clients. NFL head coaches do not. So, you know, I wouldn't have made the deal. By the way, their initials, they both have ABTO. I mean, it's the same guy now. By the way, Brian Westbrook was on, former Eagle running back. He played with T.O. in the locker room, and he said, listen, we couldn't, when it blew up, we couldn't handle the noise.
He had a problem with Donovan. He had a problem with Andy Reid to get over. We weren't able to get over the noise as a team. It's my belief that 53 guys have to be headed in the same direction, and you can't have a locker room divided.
So T.O. couldn't handle a quarterback and a head coach. Why? Because he's anti-authority. That's his personality. And that's what AB is. AB doesn't like the helmet. He doesn't like the commish. He doesn't like the rules. He struggled with Big Ben. Why? Authority. And it's very common. It's all over America. A lot of artists that way. It's okay, but this is a rough league for that personality type. I mean, this is the shield, the logo, the playbook, the regimented, the coach, the GM. It's not the NBA. It's not international soccer. It's not baseball where the manager is marginalized by the GM upstairs handing him. Everybody in the baseball clubhouse knows the GM is sending down the lineup every day for the manager. Like, that's understood. They all know there's limited. And by the way, the manager knows that. So the manager is a put your arm around, let's talk about. In the NBA, stars don't get fired, coaches do. I support your politics, arm around you. It's not the way it works in the NFL, especially with John Gruden, who has a 10-year guaranteed contract. So he's not giving any leverage up. That's why he sent his GM out yesterday, out in the garden to talk about it, you know, ad lib. Hey, you send the message. He wouldn't even do it. He sent his GM out to do it. That tells you the authority Gruden has. Hour 2 coming up. Eric Dickerson stops by. Good stuff. Drew Rosenhaus, too. Colin right, Colin wrong. We're in L.A. It's a Monday. It's The Herd.